Hello and welcome to Cookery with Mason Storm. On today's episode we're going to be working with the world's most expensive spice, saffron, and we are going to be making roasted chicken in the style of Persian chicken using that saffron spice. Stay tuned. For our ingredients, I have 1 teaspoon of curry, 1/2 teaspoon of saffron, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of warm water, 1 onion, 2 lemons and an orange, and a small chicken. Well, a normal sized chicken, I guess. To begin our process, I'm just going to get out my old cutting board and I'm going to prepare the onions first. So I'm just going to cut them in half and then cut the tips off of them and then proceed to cut them into nice fancy slices. Of course, I'm going to put them in slices on the bottom of my roasting pan, which I have selected here. It's got a nice lip on it, which will be good. That way it doesn't spill all over the place, which would be quite unfortunate. And we'll just do a nice gentle kind of slicing. And we're going to get a bit of a bed of onions. And it won't take very long to get our onion bed set up. And this is probably the most intensive cutting we have to do. But there's one more thing we have to cut, and that's our lemons and our oranges. We're just going to cut those in half so that we're able to juice them pretty easily. You might want to cut your lemons up into smaller pieces because we're going to be using those again later on, but either way we can start our juicing process now that they're all cut apart. And I just have my standard issue reamer here, and I'm just going to ream all the juices out of the oranges and the lemons. Having a good reamer here makes this process really easy and quick. If you don't have one, maybe you can use the end of a wooden spoon or something, or lemon extract and orange juice, something crazy, but there's other ways of getting it done if you don't own a reamer, but you should own a reamer. And we'll move on to the next step. So now I'm going to get out my warm water here, and because I poured it out a little while ago, it might not be as hot as it was before, so I'm just testing with my finger to make sure it's hot enough, and then dumping in the saffron. And now you can kind of let the saffron do its own thing if you want, but I find that if you kind of rub it, it kind of breaks down the saffron and really gets the flavor into the water, which is what we want. We want to kind of let that kind of break down a little bit, kind of crushing the saffron. It's amazing how powerful of a spice saffron is. It's intense. At least when you're paying what you do for it, you get something, right? So that's always a good thing. And once our saffron's all prepared, then we're going to go get our lemon and orange juice mixture out, and then we're going to proceed to add our saffron mixture to our oranges and lemons, as well as our oil and our spices. Of course, once we have everything all added together, then we're going to get out our whisk, and we're going to proceed to whisk this stuff till it's got a nice consistent texture and consistency. Not really texture, I guess it's just consistency. Just going to keep mixing that up till it's all heterogeneous. And then we're all set to move on to our next step. So now we'll go back over to our pan here with the onions in the bottom of it, and we're going to get out our chicken. I've already washed the chicken inside now and patted it dry and did all that fanciness. Not sure if that actually really does anything, but now we're going to take our lemons and we're going to stuff them inside the chicken carcass. This is why I was saying before that if you cut your onions up into smaller pieces, it might be easier to stuff them in, but with a little bit of pressure and force, the lemons go in pretty good. And then I'm just going to cover the whole top of it with my liquid mixture, and then we're good to throw this thing into the oven. It's all nice and properly basted now. So we'll throw it in the oven at 400 degrees, cook it for about an hour. We'll pull it out and we're going to start basting it. So we're just going to put the liquid from the bottom onto the top of the bird. We're just going to keep coating it with its liquid spice mixture that we have here, and that way we get a lot more flavors inside of it. And then we'll throw it back in the oven and we'll cook it for another hour, and then we can check it with the thermometer and see how done we are. And then once we're done with our chicken, I guess you want to cover it with some foil, let it rest for a little while, then you can proceed to the consumption and carving process. Although I guess you would carve it before you'd consume it, but there's always that. And that's how we make our chicken. Now, something I did with mine is I took all the juices here. Now, I didn't make gravy with them. I used the juices to make rice. And in the beginning of the video, you saw my little rice patty I had the chicken breast sitting on. And That was quite delicious. That really had the chicken flavor with the saffron. Oh, it was some of the best rice I've ever made, but that's a different project. So let me know in the comments below if you've had saffron before, or if you cook with it regularly, and what type of projects you do. And if you like my content, feel free to like and subscribe. And until next time, stay awesome.